knows how this one's going to pour out. Kristaps Porzingis has been accused of rape by a woman in New York City who said that she was asking him for $68,000 to settle the whole situation and to keep quiet. She also said that she had asked the New York Knicks to mediate between her and Kristaps Porzingis for the money. Now, guys, I'm going to ask you, is this – obviously this can pretty much turn out to be a pretty serious situation.
Yeah.
But is this one of those clear cases where it's sounding a lot like this could be – more of like not extortion, but in terms of she just wants the money, or do you think that there could be a serious possibility here that something happened?
You can go for you.
Tom,
I don't know much about this. This is the first I've heard of it.
Okay, I'll break it down for you really quick if you want.
Yeah.
So basically, what happened is she's describing it as she went to his room, his apartment at like the top building or whatever, at like 2:00 in the morning, sometime very early in the morning. He was injured, and apparently he was very aggressive in the manner that he was acting towards her. That is how she's describing it. So that's sort of the synopsis on how this is going down.
This was in New York, right?
This was in New York.
Yeah, this was when he was with the Knicks.
in New York when he was with the Knicks.
We've heard of other things happening in New York, right?
Yes.
And how did those turn out?
Well, I mean, there's been a mixed.
You all know which one I'm talking about.
No, yeah. I understand.
We are talking about Isaiah Thomas. Right?
No, we're talking about Patrick Kane.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
no, I thought. that was New York.
Yeah, it was Buffalo.
Buffalo, New York.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
Like,
all right.
Like that one came back and they were like, "Oh, this didn't happen." They faked the whole thing.
Yeah.
I guarantee Kristaps Porzingis isn't doing shit like this.
Okay, Kevin, what do you think?
First of all, why are you going to someone's apartment at 2:00 in the morning?
Mm-hmm.
How I Met Your Mother taught me well. Nothing good happens after 2:00.
Exactly. I couldn't have said it better
very
myself. Next, I'll take $68,000 and keep quiet.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how much your dignity and self-respect are apparently worth.
Mm.
So I call into question her character right then and there.
Yeah.
And then third, again, this man just tore because it torn ACL, right?
Yes, this was when he tore his ACL.
This happened last year, right?
This happened last year.
Torn ACL, like freshly off a torn ACL, pretty much.
Yeah.
And guys, having a very serious knee injury, I can tell you, you're not able to do a whole hell of a lot. And if Kristaps Porzingis was in even half as big of a knee brace as I was, like I was in one that was practically like the full length of my leg and couldn't even bend my leg.
Yeah.
So I fail to see how that would even remotely happen.
Right.
If he can't even like basically use one of his legs because one of his legs is literally just locked in place.
Okay. All right. Well, fair. All right. So next topic here.
Not saying that she's, spewing lies or anything, just saying my opinion.
I mean, it is what you guys think about the situation. That's what it is. All right. So next we have Tom Brady who faked out the entire internet and almost literally broke it by going out and making a Twitter account, finally, putting himself out there and saying that he was officially retiring and that he was going to be tweeting in his spare time.
Go.
Now, is this one of the do you call this like maybe one of the best pranks of all time? Is this
First
almost
off,
literally broke the internet from what
Go.
they're saying?
First off,
Okay.
why people thought he would retire this way?
He's the GOAT!
Excuse me, you're hitting my mic. You all thought I was going to be playing
Keep going,
mic.
Tom.
For anybody who thought he was going to do something like this is idiot. And I don't understand why the internet broke. Or he made a Twitter.
Well, they were freaking out. That's what they were doing. Some people were really buying
Do people
this.
not realize what day it is? Celebrities do this all the time.
I know.
He got Dwayne Johnson, didn't he?
I think so. Well, I know some celebrities were really like tweeting at him like, yo, this for real and stuff. Like they were really coming at him.
I get questioning it a little bit, but at the same time you got to go into it thinking like, this is obviously a neighbor. Like, hell, the Cubs are coming out with the cologne, guys. You see that commercial?
Oh, yeah. Just like the Bears are going to wear 3 digits, right?
Dude, I saw that. I almost believed that for a second.
Did you really see?
At least for warm-ups. I thought it was at least for warm-ups.
Yeah.
That's what I thought it was for.
I wouldn't mind that, actually. But, I mean, no, this is...
Right? Like the Hawks do it when Chris Kunitz had his 1,000th game. They all wore Kunitz and his number on their bags.
Right. But this is like the thing. I think a lot more people who are like not obviously sports fans probably saw that. And they just were like, oh. Jesus, Tom.
Sorry.
All right, Kevin, what are you thinking, man?
He's the GOAT.
Okay. So greatest prank, you say?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know about greatest prank.
Like what else could you that was hilarious. The only other thing I could compare to that I saw on April Fool's Day was I don't know if you guys, I mean, you guys don't pay attention to video games nearly as much as I do, but there was a fake announcement that IGN and Nintendo did for the new Nintendo Switch. It was bringing like, hey, we're bringing all the games to the Switch. And it was going through like, you know, all the best Nintendo titles, but then it was like, Netflix and chill and the Cubs radio. They're like the Cubs broadcasting network.
Yeah,
and like all these other crappy games. Like
I think Riggs, I did see something like that.
Big Rigs or something like that. It was awesome. But,
oh my god.
No, Tom Brady. Hats off to him. That is my dope moment of the week.
Okay. All right, so next thing, John Calipari seals a lifetime deal to finish his entire career with the University of Kentucky amid rumors that he was going to be the new head coach at UCLA.
Until another scandal pops up.
Possibly. Now, I'm going to ask you guys, do you think that this was the smart move for Calipari, or do you think that he maybe should have gone about this a different way? What do you guys feel about this?
First off, since when was there even talks of him going to UCLA?
So apparently there were rumors that UCLA was going to try and maneuver him away from Kentucky by offering him so much money that he could not.
No, guys, I'm sorry. Tom, okay. I'll let you finish in a second. I got to say this.
Go ahead.
Guys, I'm sick of the national media saying, oh, the top programs, Duke, North Carolina, UCLA. UCLA has not been relevant in almost 40 years.
Yes.
When was the last time they won a national championship?
It's been a while.
What was it, 88-1?
That would.
Wait, hold on. You know who was that one loss?
Oh, God, yeah.
Digger Phelps and Notre Dame.
Well, their last championship, I believe it was sometime in the 90s. I'll have to double check on that.
But
it's been a while.
But guys, the point is that UCLA is not a powerhouse. The people, I think even the people our generation, we've never known UCLA as a powerhouse in basketball.
A couple of years back, they were pretty decent, but they weren't exactly considered.
Well, yeah, that's when they had. That's when they had Lonzo and what was it? Leaf.
TJ Leaf.
But they were good, but they're not Duke. They're not North Carolina. They're not even Kentucky or Michigan State or even Michigan.
Yeah.
I just stop it.
Yeah.
Please, UCLA, stop trying to live off the reputation that you had 30 years ago. Oh, wait, who does that sound like? Living off a reputation from 30 years ago. The Dallas Cowboys! I always find a way to roast their dumbass fans.
All right, but but for John Calipari and University of Kentucky.
Get your money.
So you say smart move for him?
Get your money.
Okay.
Because guess what? He doesn't have any reason to leave because apparently the Kentucky fans are too stupid to realize that in the 14 years he's been there, he's won one national title and he's had 68 five-star recruits. In the last 4 years, he's had 28 five-star recruits and he's managed no Final Four appearances. The only reason he has a national championship at all is because he had Anthony Davis.
Okay.
He couldn't even win a national championship when he had John Wall, Eric Bledsoe, and DeMarcus Cousins versus a bunch of scrubs.
Fair enough. Tom, what do you say? Do you think it was a smart move to take the all-time deal?
Who cares?
Answer the question. Do you think it was smart or not smart?
I think it was dumb.
Okay. All right, that's fair.
Dumb on whose part, if you don't mind me asking? On his or Kentucky's or both?
I think just all together. First off, I think it's really just the media, and I know I'm bashing the industry I want to get into.
That's fine. That's fine.
Why do they have to? He says it perfectly. Shut your mouth.
It's to drum up the rumors so that we can all talk about this. But we don't talk about it that long because we're moving on from there, ladies and gentlemen. Next, we have the Santa Anita racetrack has unfortunately lost its 23rd horse since December 26th. Now,
wait, that 2018?
Yes, since last year. December 26, 2018, they've lost 23 horses now. Wow. Unfortunately, that horse was injured. We showed a little snippet of the video. We're not gonna show the whole thing. It's very gruesome.
Put it up again. I want to see it.
It's only the wreck. It's not the entire thing to see the injury.
Put the video back up. I want to see it.
So basically, the whole thing is that.
Put the video. I just want to see it.
PETA is calling for.
Oh, shut the. God, I hate that.
PETA and many others are calling for the either shutdown of the track until it is completely fixed or whatever they possibly can do to make sure that the racetrack is going to be safe. But PETA is going even farther in saying that they should shut down the track entirely.
I'm amazed they're not just saying, ban horse racing.
So, they have been trying to do that for quite some time. But I want to ask you guys, do you think that they should shut down the track indefinitely until they can find some way to fix the situation? Because they said
the video
that they're going to be. It's short.
I just want to see the little wreck. I didn't get to see it. They would put it up.
All right,
put it up.
Guys, throw up the video for us, will you? It's in there.
I just want to see the wreck.
But yeah, so I'm gonna ask you guys: do you think that they should shut down the track indefinitely, or do you think that they should? Do you think they're gonna continue? Because they've said they're gonna continue. But I want to know from you guys: should you?
That's the horse and jockey's fault.
Okay, so you think they should just keep continuing?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously they got to look in and see what's going on there because obviously
clearly there's something wrong.
The 23rd death, yeah, so they should have done it after the first two.
Okay.
But weren't like the first couple because of sickness?
Yeah, so the first horses were because more so I think it was the illness, but they still ran anyways.
All right, well, that's the
track's
fault at that point.
That's not the track's fault.
But
that's
the rest of these have been through injuries on the track.
Okay,
with running into horses and things like that, and
this one, if you're running into a horse, then that's the jockey's fault because he's supposed to keep that horse out of. Not allowing that. Like, that's on the jockey. That's not on the track.
Okay.
He's not wrong about that one.
Okay.
He's not wrong
about
that.
So, Tom, you're saying that...
If it crashes like that, that's on the jockey. That's on the teams.
Okay.
That's not on the horse. That's not... I mean, all right, obviously it's on the horse. A little bit, because the horse should realize...
Tom, I don't think the horse is going into that corner wanting to, hey, I'm going to crash into that horse over there. That,
but horses are still animals just like us. If I'm going to run into you... I sense that and I get out of the way. They can do stuff. They can ignore the smacking that the jockey's doing and everything like that.
Yeah.
Like there's all right. I'm not saying it's all the horse's fault, but like we have senses not to run into each other.
Right.
They have senses not to run into each other.
Yeah.
Right,
no.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if there crashes, then it's the jockey's. It's the team's fault. It's not the track's fault. Now, if it's a crash and they go back and look at the ground where it's at, and there was like a rock, and that's what the horse stepped on, then yes, it's the track's fault. But it's also the fact that the jockey should go out, which most of the time they do.
Yeah.
Before any of the races even start, you see them walk in the tracks in certain spots, and they make sure and they'll kick stuff out. So that's on them as well. Okay. It's on anybody who walks those tracks and stuff like that.
All right. So then you're saying then they should just keep the track going then?
Well, obviously, maybe redo the ground and everything like that.
So you're saying shut it down for a
short
amount of time.
Yeah, it's obviously not just this illness. That could be it.
Yeah.
But that could happen anywhere. That happens at every horse.
Right.
I bet that's happened at Churchill Downs.
I mean,
we don't know. They've never said, but
it's this with the spring of injuries. It's certainly a little skeptical. So, Kevin, what do you think? Should they shut it down, or do you think they should just keep going?
I think close it temporarily. You gotta do something because
you gotta do something. But you can't keep it closed.
23 deaths. Like, what are we? We're just started April. That's less than 5 months.
Yeah,
that's not okay.
No, it's 4.
4 months. Yeah, I said less than 4 months, 5 months, whatever.
Yeah.
And the point is, I think PETA just needs to shut up.
Yeah. Jesus.
Okay. All right. So
they got bigger fish.
All right. So moving into our next topic.
You see what I did there?
All right.
You see what I did there, everybody?
Now Peter's gonna be mad at us. I don't care.
That's
all
a
right.
shame.
So next topic:
I love my dogs.
the Canadian Women's Hockey League will be discontinuing operations as of May 1st of this year. Now, this is an unfortunacy. This is sad to hear, but I want to hear from you guys. What does this do
First off,
to the sport of women's hockey?
Of these teams?
If you can do them quick, run through them fast.
Well, there's not many. But first off, a lot of the NHL teams in Canada sponsor some of them.
Oh, yeah.
Do they?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I know the Leafs. Actually,
Toronto Leafs, Calgary Flames.
Calgary Flames.
Montreal
Canadiens.
What about the Canucks?
I don't know about them.
They
don't sponsor.
They ain't shit.
So you have the Calgary Inferno, Les Canadiens de Montreal, Toronto Furries, Markham Thunder.
Yep.
Shazon Chris Vankin Rays. Dude, they're from China.
French,
it's Chinese. They're from China.
It's the China team.
Worcester Blades.
Okay.
Burlington Barracudas, Brompton Thunder, and Quebec Phoenix. Funny thing is, Markham Thunder and the Brompton Thunder are in the same fucking city.
Oh, really?
So why is there a team in China?
Because it's U.S., China, and Canada.
Yeah.
So we're just not going to have Russia, though?
No.
Why not?
Well, I mean...
Because they don't play women's hockey.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
But no, but I'm asking you guys, do you think, what does this do to women's hockey?
It sucks.
Do you think?
That's what it does. It sucks.
How much does this hurt the league, do you think?
Like, whose league? Exactly?
Actually,
well, not the league,
doesn't
but
hurt
how does
anything.
it work?
You want to know what it does?
You want
to know what it does?
What?
It helps the U.S. Women's Hockey League.
In what way?
Wait, we have a U.S. Women's Hockey League?
Explain real
expanding
quick.
to Toronto and Montreal now.
Wait, we have a U.S. Women's Hockey League?
Yep. Yes, we do. We do.
That's where
Really?
Kendall Coyne plays.
That's where
Coin's
that's where a
dope.
lot of the U.S. women's hockey national hockey team
Oh, my
come
bad.
from.
It's Kendall Coyne Schofield. My
Yeah.
bad.
I mean, she's still a badass. So.
So you're saying that then all these players will then go from Canada and just come into the U.S.?
As of the CBC posted this yesterday at 1:58 p.m. Eastern time. U.S. U.S. Women's Hockey League expanding to Toronto and Montreal.
Okay. All right. Nice. So
Now
looks like
all this will. My guess is it'll help the U.S. The U.S. I'm hoping. This is, dude. It's the WHL.
Right.
Yeah.
What happened when there was a WHL in the men's?
Yeah.
It didn't last very
Did,
long.
No, it didn't.
Did you guys see? This was the one that I wanted to bring up, guys. There was a man over the weekend that you guys know the CBI tournament. So you know that there's the NCAA, then there's the NIT.
Stop.
What?
Stop. Save it for later. Save it for later.
Shut up.
Save it for later.
What?
Stop. Continue.
Fine, then I have another one. Then I have two.
Does it have to do with what we were just talking about?
No.
What you were just saying?
No.
All right, good.
All right,
No.
go, Kevin. Just go.
It was. Did you guys see that? Adidas and there was another company that have pledged over. I think it's now totaling over $2 million to the women's. The women's national team for soccer because of the ginormous pay difference that they get for qualifying for the World Cup as opposed to the men.
Yeah,
you realize the
and that's
men back
great.
in 2014 when they actually qualified for the World Cup because we suck at soccer for whatever reason.
Women's we don't. Calm down.
I know.
Women's World Cup's this
I know
June.
the women's World Cup
It's
kicks
June,
ass.
dude. It's June.
All right,
No!
relax, Kevin. Keep going, man. Just pour it out.
The men they got a $55,000 bonus for qualifying for the World Cup and the women got 15.
Yeah. No, it's
Except the
ridiculous.
women won the last World Cup.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It really is.
Like the men's national team is an embarrassment, actually, to be brutally honest.
Do you really want me to get me going again on
Don't get him started with that. That's for a whole nother conversation, and we're not pouring into that one again right now.
By the way, the NHL also funds the NWHL.
Does it really?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't
obviously,
even know
it
that.
makes sense.
Oh yeah.
It's basically the NHL with just a
Right.
W in there.
All right. So, but you're saying this is going to help the U.S. hockey? Then it doesn't really hurt the women's hockey sport?
No, I think it's still going to expand the hockey, but it will be one central league now.
Okay.
I think the only team it might hurt is the team from China.
Okay.
But it says the CHL operated like Major League Soccer, or CWHL operated like Major League Soccer.
Yeah.
By owning each of its teams except for the one based in China. I'm not going to try to pronounce that name. Starting in 2017-18, it began paying player salaries ranging from $2,000 to $10,000 out of a total budget of $3.7 million.
Okay.
The NWHL has relied on private investors and was the first to pay players a salary.
Okay. Kevin, quick thought on it. CWHL. Do you think this is going to hurt women's hockey, or do you think that it's only going to stay stable?
I mean, it sucks, but at the same time, maybe Tom's right. Like maybe the NWHL.
No, NWHL.
Maybe the NW.
It's basically the NHL with a W.
Yeah, the NWHL. That's what
all right, you're still struggling.
Maybe the NWHL will buy up a couple of the franchises. Maybe some of the other teams in the NHL will buy these franchises so that way they can still be in operation.
Yeah. Okay.
Who knows?
Fair enough. All right.
Maybe this might not be the last we'll see of the Calgary Inferno and the Toronto Furries.
It's
It
possible.
doesn't sound like it with the Toronto Furries or the Montreal team because they're going to expand to Montreal and Toronto.
Right.
Which is a start.
Next!
And our final topic is that the AAF is now ceasing operations as of yesterday.
Well, there's a surprise.
And it looks like that the league may fold. Bill Polian said that he was sad to see that the league could not continue all the way to the end. But according to the new owner, Mr. Dundon, he said that he was going to be ceasing operations until further notice. So is this, how on a scale of 1 to 5 or whatever, give me, how upset does this make you on
It was
the
exciting
AAF?
football.
It was.
It was football.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really true football. The NFL is not anymore.
All right. Fair enough.
you're allowed to hit the
so on a scale of 1 to
quarterback in
5,
the AAF.
Tom, how upset are you with the AAF?
I mean,
now
I never got
shutting-
to really watch any of the games. I just saw the highlights like on Facebook and stuff like that, or what people would post or send to me. I mean, I'm not upset.
Yeah.
It gives me a break from football that I think we all want. I don't know why they pushed it.
It gives us another
I get
something
it,
else to watch.
But we have, at least for us here, we have basketball and hockey.
All right.
And then right now we got
Baseball.
right now we got basketball, baseball, and hockey.
Right.
Now what really is tough is in the months of June, June, July,
Trying to get to training camp.
August. Not even that. You just have baseball. Like, you don't have
Yeah.
that variety of sports to watch.
Yeah.
So that's where now obviously this year, like we've all mentioned, the Women's World Cup's this year. So at least June will be a little bit different for people who like to watch.
I mean, if
women's
you like the
soccer.
Premier League like me, the Premier League.
Well, yeah,
back.
but a lot of people don't like soccer, but don't want to get up at
Yeah.
super stupid hours in the morning to watch
Right,
Premier
yeah.
League soccer.
Kevin, what are your thoughts? Scale 1 to 5. How you feeling on that?
I'd say about a 3.
Okay.
I mean, so I'm a little bit upset about it. I'm kind of really upset at the fact that a man as smart as Bill Pullen and with some of the other people that he had involved in this, like, your Mike Singletaries, your Troy Polamalu's, your Hines Wards, that they would rush into this. Because he even, Andrew, you obviously mentioned that he said that they rushed into it because they wanted to get to market before the XFL did.
Yeah, that was the word, was that Dundon was trying to push, while Bill Polian and Charlie Ebersol, the son of Dick Ebersol, who worked on the XFL, they wanted to do a 3-year plan where they built up some people, built up some fans, got themselves into a good position, and then eventually became the developmental league for the NFL. Dundon tried to push it right away, and unfortunately it just didn't seem to work. So,
I mean, it sucks because there was definitely some decent quality. There was some good quality competition.
Yeah.
Like, there was, like, on every team, there was always like a couple, like a handful of names on every team that I'd recognize, either that played in the NFL for a little bit or like that were good college players.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, one of the teams, I think it was the Memphis team that Mike Singletary, Will Sutton, former Bear, was on there.
Very true. And you had guys like Aaron Murray from Georgia.
Zach
and
Mettenberger.
Trent Richardson actually looked like he was revitalizing his
God.
career and
No,
stuff.
no amount
I mean,
can help that.
for what it wasn't the worst football in the world.
No.
It wasn't great,
Better than
but
Thursday
it
night.
was pretty decent. It
Hey,
gave us another
Bears
example.
are opening Thursday night.
All right.
know.
Let's go to that game.
All right, and we'll figure it out.
Dude, do a tailgate.
First, let's figure out the financials we all have here,
Hey,
and
I'm
then
down. I'm down for a tailgate. I'm
Tailgate.
always
All right,
down for that.
tailgate, we'll see.
100th day or 100th year.
Okay.
Start off the season
Live broadcast.
against Green Bay.
possible.
Live broadcast. Why not?
Possible.
I mean, hey, do you want to go to Ribfest in Naperville?
We'll see. It's the last year.
Is it
Yeah, it
for
is.
Naperville, or is the last year in general? Like for
Oh.
Chicago too.
Well, the Naperville Rib Fest is last year.
Well, that explains why they have Billy Idol and Flo Rida.
Yeah, which is still a weird combo.
Yeah.
oh, down, we're going.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, that's going to do it here for Takes at the Top. Let us know what you guys think about all the stories here down below. Comment and let us know anything you guys want us to talk about in those stories. All right, moving on from there. We're moving
Next.
into the NCAA tournament because we finally got to our Final Four, ladies and gentlemen.
Woo!
And may I say our brackets are terrible.
Well,
Well,
I got Michigan State winning
yeah,
one.
you
round.
got one right.
Hey, I
so-
ripped that bracket up 3 weeks ago. I'm on my women's bracket right now.
I already won that bracket. So, I mean, look, this NCAA tournament, obviously there's been a lot of twists and turns. We've seen a lot. So far, the Final Four has officially been announced.
Woo!
It is Michigan State, Virginia, Auburn, and Texas Tech. Who would have thought? Only one number one made it in after
Wait,
last
I had a joke.
show.
I had
we
a really
had
good joke.
prediction.
I had a really good joke.
What?
Actually, it's not a joke, but it's
Is
funny.
that a quick joke?
Yeah, it's
All
funny
right.
to think that the first number one team out last year is the last number one team this year.
That's not a joke. That's
No, it's
just
not a
statement.
joke.
That's
It's just a
a
statement.
fact.
But I got you to let me say what I wanted to say.
All right, fine. No, and that's a fair point to make out. A team that got knocked out by the 16th seed in the first round, now making it there. First things first, though, I want to shout out to Purdue because they put up a fight.
Why?
They put up a fight. They were able to overcome Tennessee in overtime. Carson Edwards
that man's a walking bucket.
Carson Edwards, I truly believe, has played himself into potentially a top 10 pick. I think he may be even this year's Steph Curry. Just saying.
Okay.
Just saying. He could be the surprise pick. He could be the
down.
surprise pick you get late in the draft. But outside of that, obviously they played a very good game against Tennessee. Carson Edwards was the guy that led the charge, and then obviously they go in against Virginia Tech. He drops 42 points on them.
You mean Virginia?
Virginia, and he drops 42 on them, but unfortunately it's not enough as Virginia was able to win the game in overtime.
Hey, so did Tom Izzo pay Khalil Mack to guard Zion?
I mean, are you kidding me with this? First off, too, this goes to prove that your comment about Tom Izzo was completely off, I got to say.
Wow, 1 year.
It's not just 1 year. He always finds his way into the tournament.
I've never said that he's not a good regular season coach. What I said
he's
is
also a good tournament coach.
How many Final Fours has he been to since he won his last championship
in
2000?
He's been to more than Bill Self.
That's true.
Yeah, well, that's why I didn't have Kansas going far.
Bill Self, the only time he's gotten Nash is when he had Mario Chalmers.
Yeah, that was the year they beat
Derrick
Rose.
Rose and John Calipari.
Yeah. I called that. I was like, Kansas is gonna beat Memphis, and everybody was like, "You're an idiot. You're an idiot."
So here's how many Final Fours they've been to since
really,
Tom Izzo's been there: 2005, 2009, 2010, 2015, and now this year.
And how many has he won?
How many has he won?
I mean, you didn't say how many he's won.
So
I know. I'm just asking.
Well, he has not won a championship.
He's won one.
He's won one in 2000. Yes. So that was so if counting that 2000, 2001, 2005, 2009, 2010, 2015, 2019.
All right. So he has the resume to get there. But how many years has that team been so good in the regular season and get to the tournament and lose?
That's fair.
And that's where I've always come from.
But I don't think that's coaching, though. I don't think that's coaching.
Dude, come on.
I think that's from player personnel.
There's a little bit of because the year they were a 2 seed against Middle Tennessee. You're a 2 seed losing to a 15 seed from a school I had never even heard of.
But think about the personnel though that they had on that team. This team, how they got here to the tournament.
I mean,
they don't have one guy that's from the top 10 in the recruiting class.
But if you're a 2 seed, then you have some pretty good players.
I mean, Denzel Valentine was the AP Player of the Year that year, guys. Now,
Fair
aside
enough.
from the fact that he is garbage in the NBA,
okay.
let's
Zion will be
let's
too.
toss that fact aside.
And we'll talk about
Denzel Valentine was a fantastic college player.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He could literally do everything in college.
Absolutely.
Of course, obviously, he can't do shit for the Bulls, which is
But he's always hurt.
And he's also ugly,
right.
so
But
he's
no,
got that
at Michigan
going for
State,
him.
he was an all-around kind of player. But I mean,
But
this
he
is
was
one
there
of those
for
things.
that year that they lost to Middle Tennessee, right?
Yes, he was.
Yes.
Yeah.
But this is one of those things, and I'm not saying that Izzo doesn't have his issues. He's certainly a coach that sometimes I think falls on the spectrum in terms of is he great or is he not. Certainly, with all the stuff that has happened at Michigan State, there's a big question of what kind of person he is. But aside from that, as a coach, I think I think I would call him a very good coach. I'll say that. I think when it comes to the regular season, getting these average players, let's say, and finding a way to get them to a level where they're playing at an elite level, I think he can do that.
Average?
Look, Cassius Winston was not like a top. He was one of the top 100s, but he was towards the bottom.
Except, Andrew, they're playing in the Big Ten. The Big Ten is hands down the best basketball. As an entire conference, is the best conference in the country.
No, and I'm not doubting that at all. But I'm saying in terms of when they come in as recruits, those guys do not come in as like superstars usually. He's not grabbing the superstar talent. But what he does with taking those guys that compared to the rest of the Big Ten, let's say, right? Those guys are kind of considerably to be average, maybe even above average, let's say, okay? And he finds a way to put that team together and say, I've got 10 guys who I can put on the floor, and they can play with anybody.
Well, okay.
And that's where I give him the credit as a coach.
I'm assuming we're moving on. We've moved on to the Duke, North Carolina,
yes,
the Duke, Michigan State game. Guys, what did I say last week?
What's that?
The weakness of this Duke team is the fact that they can't shoot the ball to save their lives. And what happened, everybody? What happened, ladies and gentlemen? So, yes, Zion Williamson did get 24 and 14. R.J. Barrett went 21 points. But Cam Reddish, their laser three-point shooter, had a whopping 9 points. He was garbage. Trey Jones, garbage on offense. They didn't have any offensive push outside of Zion Williamson, outside of R.J. Barrett. And guess what? They turned Zion Williamson into a shooter.
Yeah.
And can he hit from the outside? Yes, he hit a couple of deep range shots.
He was 3 for 5.
Yeah, but guess what? That's not what Zion Williamson wants to do. That's not what Duke wants him to do.
Right.
They want him to be dominating on the inside and then use his passing and his playmaking ability, and he couldn't do that. Michigan State out-Duked Duke. Literally. They out-Duked. They push. They push.
Hold on, time out. Let's go back to the Virginia Tech game where they almost lost that game, too.
Right. Yeah, no, Virginia.
And the UCF game.
Well, and you could see, though.
Those teams were out-duking Duke. And really, they would have
lost. I love how that's becoming a verb.
And they, dude, God.
No, it makes sense. I get it.
It's it goes back to my whole Notre Dame this past football season, Navy. Yeah. When I kept saying that, that's where that comes from. I'm just gonna use it from everything.
Okay, all right.
Think about it.
Well, look, I think what UCF sort of gave the blueprint for how everybody was supposed to beat them. Then you have Virginia Tech, who uses that same blueprint, forced them to shoot the ball.
They literally did the exact same thing, including not finishing an easy layup at the rim.
Yeah, and then
first off, UCF, if Taco Falls was in that game, they would have won that game.
It's possible. But then you have Michigan State, they're very good on the perimeter. They force those guys to be able to go. Well, I mean, it shows. But those guys forced everybody to make sure that they were taking jump shots or they were taking threes. Obviously, they let Zion in a few times. And, yes, it came down to the wire. But it also showed, too, that, hey, when the pressure's on, R.J. Barrett apparently just can't sink a free throw.
And then he couldn't. And then the free throw that he had to miss, he made.
Yeah, and by the way, Duke fans, chill out.
Trash.
Chill out. Don't be sending a kid death threats because he missed a free throw.
Who?
R.J. Barrett's been getting death threats from Duke fans, apparently, because he missed a free throw.
Dude, how many more times do I have to tell you Duke is trash?
Yeah, no kidding. You don't think I know that as a UNC
God,
fan?
I hate Duke.
I know.
You know how
I
many
do
national
too.
championships they've cost Notre Dame lacrosse?
Now you're just bleeding your heart out.
Yes, I am.
All right, relax. No, but I'm
sorry.
As much as I wanted my bracket to be right. Props to Michigan State.
Wait, you were not even going to talk about the message that I sent everybody, Friday night?
Yeah. Well, look, I'm not going to get into that.
On Facebook, remember I said, eat shit, Andrew, UNC sucks?
Yeah, well, we're going to get into that one because UNC, once again.
Didn't even make it to the Elite Eight.
You couldn't just keep your foot on the gas, really?
They got dominated in that game.
Look, I thought they played.
Got to give credit to Auburn.
They played pretty decent, I thought, in the first. I thought they played pretty decent in the first for UNC, but they took their foot off the gas.
That's fine, but I hate
Frank
Charles
Thomas.
Barkley. I can name one person from that school and still like the school.
Okay.
I mean, I do.
Do we? Why is
Auburn
it?
fans now?
Why is it roll War Eagle? What the hell is that?
It's because there was an eagle above the stand.
No, it's not actually. It was what the Confederate soldiers during the Civil War would chant when they were going into battle and stuff.
You know, South stuff.
Well, and yet we don't have all these protests bitching about that.
No, because it's an almost. I think it has to do with Native American, which again I don't.
That's still like.
But
I don't know.
But it's not as bad as.
All right. Well,
I'm not saying that,
aside,
someone should protest. I'm like, so we don't have people bitching about this instead.
No,
all right. Well,
aside
aside from the protests and everything, yes, Auburn was able to beat UNC 97-80. They can't shoot the ball. They can defend very well. They're very fast. They transition well on defense.
Top 5 defense. They're top 5 in the country in defensive efficiency.
Absolutely. And then they go against Kentucky, and they handled Kentucky. They handled the University of Kentucky, and they shocked John Calipari to the point where his mouth was wide open on the sidelines going, what's happening? What's going on?
I'm John Calipari. I know the best recruits in the country. My team's supposed to win.
He didn't even have the best.
Hey guys, guess
in the
what?
country.
That's what happens. Did we or did we not say this on this show that's what happens when you don't have like some experience? Because outside of PJ Washington, they were all that's what happens when you have all freshmen every year.
Maybe the one and done shouldn't be a thing.
I mean, that's always a possibility.
Look at how many players don't pan out.
Yeah.
Facts.
Well, and speaking of not one and dones, you obviously have Texas Tech, who's now in this thing. Which who would have thought that experience?
They lock you down though.
Yeah.
On defense.
But
God.
But that's the thing.
Is anyone praying for an Auburn Texas Tech? That can happen, right?
It could happen.
They're on the opposite side.
I
right?
would see. I would like a little bit more to see Michigan State go against Texas Tech.
That will happen.
No, that won't happen.
Oh yeah, that's right. They're playing in.
So it's either Virginia Texas Tech or Virginia Michigan State or Texas Tech Auburn.
Just
or
Auburn just
Michigan
needs
State.
to beat Virginia, because I'm sick of watching Virginia. I think they're vastly overrated.
Mm-hmm.
But here's
they
the
can
thing.
only play defense.
Here's the thing, though. I do agree with what some of the announcers were saying, or some of the experts were saying at the beginning of the season, is that they think last year they went into the season with so high praise and just coasted through
Virginia?
Coasted through their season, coasted through the ACC tournament.
Which they did. They ran through it.
Yeah, that they didn't have any true pressure at all. They were the talk of
they
talk of the country.
They were picked as favorites.
Yeah, they were picked
They were
as
the
favorites.
number 1 overall seed last year, weren't they?
Yeah, and they
Got
were shown
trashed.
They were shown up because they weren't prepared.
Right.
They came in this year and didn't have those same expectations. They were the laughing stock of the country still.
Everybody was still joking about them, and even though they were still the #1 team, a lot of people were saying
people are still joking about them now.
I know it's hard to pick them
because they say, well, DeAndre Hunter's a good player and Tim Guy's a really good shooter.
He is.
And they are, but overall they said, this unit, it's just they're not gonna do it. They can't do it again. They are by far the best defensive team out there. By the numbers.
Andrew, have you seen Texas Tech?
Yes, I have.
By
the numbers, though, I'm saying
they're forcing an average of 17 turnovers a game.
True, very true.
But 17.
But I'm saying, though, in terms of being a lockdown team that can shut you down in terms of points, Virginia Tech does it. Now, what Texas?
You mean Virginia? Stop saying Virginia Tech.
Excuse me.
Jesus.
I'm going with the better school. Sorry.
They're not even in the tournament anymore.
Yeah, I know. I'm just calling them, the better school. Sorry.
Based on what?
I know.
Because Virginia Tech's awesome, dude.
What?
Because their football team plays into Enter Sandman, and then we're showing up on Saturday Night Football to Notre Dame.
All right, well, moving on from that, basically with these Final Four teams, guys, now it's time to make the pick.
Sparty up.
Auburn, Texas Tech, let's go.
Sparty up.
So you're hoping for
War Eagle, let's go. As much as I don't want Charles Barkley to win.
Tom, I don't want you on my team anyways. It's just a tragedy that you even got to cheer for
did you guys see that Draymond Green came into the locker room before and he was looking for Quinn Cook?
Yeah, he was.
I was like, damn, you're just going to troll your own teammate like that? Damn, Draymond, it's like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, hey.
That was pretty funny.
Teammates got to joke with teammates, but.
I mean, Hayes and Kane do it every time USA-Canada play.
Yeah, so, so you're saying you're predicting Auburn upsets Virginia, and then Texas Tech upsets Michigan State. Okay.
Come on, that'd be a great game.
Okay. So, Kevin, who are you picking out of these two teams?
I'll say Michigan State, Auburn.
Michigan State, Auburn. Okay.
I just don't want Virginia to win. I'm sorry. I'm coming off as a hater, guys. And I don't hate Virginia.
Yes, he does.
I don't. I just don't want to watch them play anymore.
So much.
So boring.
Here's what I'll say. I think Auburn because I think Auburn's right now on a hot streak. I think Auburn is going to upset Virginia, and I think it's not even going to be close. I think it's going to be like a 20-point differential. That's how good I think this Auburn team really is. Right now, they're fighting for survival. I know they lost one of their players to an injury.
Yeah, that was a bad one, too.
And it was horrible. But honestly, this team right now is playing in sync. And, Tom, you said it. Experience pays off. And this team has a lot of it.
Hence why Notre Dame was good for those couple years and went to back-to-back Elite Eights. Hence why Loyola was good last year. Hence why Gonzaga is good almost every other year.
That's why UNC gets in every year.
UNC has a lot lot of one-and-dones, though.
Except UNC mixes some one-and-dones, though, with experience. Like Luke May won a national championship his sophomore year when he was at UNC.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying UNC still
But that's the thing is, like, you can see what happens when you mix
that man Kobe White's the truth, though.
Yeah, he is.
Second best guard in the draft outside of John Morant.
Right. It's arguable, but I would say – hold on. But I would say then Michigan State – I think Michigan State can take on Texas Tech. But it's hard. It's a hard pick, though, because I think Texas Tech can certainly give Michigan State the business. Real quick, guys, who are you picking for your national championships then out of your picks?
Sparty.
Michigan State?
Yep.
Okay.
Got to represent
Tom,
the Big Ten.
Who are you picking out of Auburn, Texas Tech? What are you feeling?
First off, I'm going to say I really don't care who would win at that point because it's going to be awesome anyways.
All right, we'll pick one.
I'm going to go War Eagle War.
Okay. All right. Well, that's where you and me actually are on the same side because I would say in my Auburn-Michigan State matchup, I'm going with Auburn as well because I just want to see what Charles Barkley would do if they win the national championship.
Everyone's entitled to the wrong opinion.
There you go. All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for our NCAA tournament talk. What do you guys think about this stuff? You guys can let us know in the topics down below. And now we're going to pass it over to Tom because he's got a real quick moment. Tom, hit us with these quick questions, baby.
So, you guys know DePaul's in a championship, right?
Yes.
All right. So, that's my question. Do you think the NCAA tournament, because in the finals of the CBI tournament, which is the college basketball invitational that they do,
which is basically the tournament that if you're too shitty to go to the NIT, you go to that one.
Yes.
Loyola's won it though. They won in 2015.
Congratulations.
But all right, it still gives teams that we're hoping to somehow get in there and maybe make the NIT have a still chance to play, and these kids can continue playing.
Yep. Okay.
But they go best of 3 in the finals.
Right.
Could you see the NCAA tournament go best of 3?
Oh.
You mean in terms of the championship?
Yeah, in the
This
championship.
is not what I was gonna talk about earlier.
No, I know, but I didn't want you to bring too much up into the CBI because I wanted to go.
Can we talk about it after we're done with his real quick?
If it can be quick, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, because I have another
Yes.
thing I want to throw
you
in.
can.
All right.
I think that'd be cool.
In terms of it can go 3.
I'd be a fan of that.
You know what? I'd be okay with it because I think it would definitely it's just going to help generate more revenue for the NCAA, which is definitely what they
And it'd be
want.
better because what happens if one, like, let's just say, like how Virginia was in last season.
Right.
They caught them on a really bad night.
Yeah.
I feel like most of the time in basketball, the best team's going to win.
Yeah.
So you can catch them on an off night,
Hence,
and the worst team can lose.
Now, I know this is the NBA, though, but the year the Mavericks won.
Right.
Now, granted, that team was a really good team.
Yes.
But they also went up against the Heat with LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh.
Right.
Like, that team should have stomped them.
Everybody was picking the Heat to either go 4-1 against
people
them
were picking
or
them
even
to sweep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then what did the Mavs do? They ended up going
Right.
Whooping
down.
that ass, whooping that ass, whooping that ass.
You know,
boy.
LeBron still had he beat the Spurs.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right,
He beat the Spurs.
struggles against Texas teams.
Yes.
Okay.
He has problems with teams at Texas.
So,
Go.
guys, really quick, the reason why I wanted to bring up the CBI game is that someone in this past weekend put $48,000 on DePaul.
Really?
To win the whole tournament.
Yes.
It's not
Wow.
bad. They're coming back to Chicago.
My question is there anything that you guys would put $48,000 to gamble on in sports?
The Kentucky Derby.
Put $48,000 on.
I mean, I would take that money to the Kentucky Derby.
No, like if you are going to gamble it on something specific. Like is there something you are comfortable with putting $48,000 $48,000 on?
The Cubs would win another world. Actually,
Mercedes. Yeah, I got one. Mercedes winning the Formula One Cup.
ooh, that's a good. You watched that documentary then?
Oh, I watch Formula One like crazy.
Do you?
Yeah, I love watching
I'm
Formula
going
One.
Ferrari.
That's one of my
I like-
secret favorite
I like
sports.
Audis.
I love watching.
I like Audi myself.
I like Ferrari. I think Ferrari could do that. We'll talk later.
Okay.
We'll talk later about that.
Oh yeah.
The Blackhawks winning another Stanley Cup with Taze and Kane still on the team.
Ooh.
Okay.
I knew he was gonna go that way too. I had a feeling.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Go.
And so what was your other thing?
So my
Tom,
other
real
thing
fast?
was, and it's not so much more college sports wise, it's more the pros.
Yep.
It has to do with fans, and what I noticed is, and I'm gonna explain something here in a 2nd. I think Chicago is the most obviously terrible representing right now.
Awful.
But I think
Atrocious.
Chicago fans are more loyal, more worthy of going and traveling and supporting their teams. There's more fans of Chicago.
And we're
teams
not criminally insane.
that go, like, the Cubs were in Texas.
Right.
There were more Cubs fans there, I'm pretty sure, than there were Rangers fans the whole weekend.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's because everybody just wants to go to a place with nice weather.
I understand that, but the White Sox were in Kansas City, and I'm still pretty sure White Sox fans, as much as I think they're the exception to Chicago, but I will say this, it's where they're located, at least home-wise, and the team isn't that good. Now, I've pulled up all 4 major sports, and
Which, for clarification, is basketball, baseball, football, and
hockey. Now, for the NFL, in average, the Chicago Bears rank 26th. They average about 61. They average about close to 62,000 fans a game in 8 games. But
So I bet we'll get more this year.
But percentage-wise, they're 5th at 100.5.
Well, oh yeah, because I guess that number would be skewed because Soldier Field's one of the smaller stadiums in the league.
Yes. So that's the NFL. In Major League Baseball, and that one was according to ESPN.
Yep.
This one's according to Baseball Reference.
Okay.
They have the Cubs 5th and the Sox 6th, which that one surprised me a little bit.
Yeah.
Due to the fact, and this was as of last year. This was 2018.
Okay.
The Cubs. Maybe. Oh yeah. No. What the. This. Oh yeah. Attendance. I was looking at the wrong thing. So their attendance per game for the Cubs is 38,794.
Oh, White Sox have 19,000.
Yeah, and the White Sox are at 19,000.
Huh,
but what gets the White Sox up there, or I don't know what gets them up to 6. Maybe it's just in alphabetical order.
Food.
I think it's alphabetical order, actually. That would help. So let me do it
I
this
stick
way.
with you, Kevin. I think it's the food.
So attendance-wise, overall attendance, the Cubs are 4th.
Yep.
The White Sox are close to the bottom because they have
Makes sense.
1,608,817.
Makes sense.
Now it makes more sense. I had it alphabetical order.
Makes sense.
The Cubs obviously are 4th.
Bulls.
Hold on. 30,181,089.
Okay.
So that's
too much numbers.
so now the NBA, which this one baffles me, and this one
Bulls
also
are in the top 5 in attendance every year.
this past year, 2019 season,
Yeah.
through 39 games, number one average total attendance average
Yep.
is the 76ers with 20,440.
Yep.
The Bulls are number 2 with 20,027.
It'd be like that.
Hold on. What's even crazier is the Mavericks. It goes the top 5 round out: Mavericks, Raptors, and Heat.
It'd be like that.
It doesn't surprise me.
And at the very, very bottom are the Nets. But that stadium's awful.
Yeah.
Really? The Barclays Center?
Dude, the Barclays Center's it's worse for hockey.
Yeah, it's not a good place. It's not a good place to play.
Really?
Yeah, it's
They
terrible.
play.
But
They
they
play
just
well.
built it.
It's
know.
terrible. There's
It's-
bad
it's-
vantage points up top.
Basically, think of it this way: they finished 80% of it and just kind of
And
said,
for
"We're done."
hockey, they park a fucking truck in one of the corners.
Yeah.
I have noticed that before.
Yeah.
Now NHL, and obviously everybody knows why I did this one last.
Mhm.
And this one
Blackhawks
doesn't baffle
number
me.
one.
Through 39 games this season,
Yeah.
they are number 1 in average total percentage.
Of course they were.
They total 880,990. They average 22,794.
Yeah, basically they average
and their
sellouts.
percentage at home is 107.1.
And let's not even take into account the fact that some teams have tried to ban Chicago fans from going altogether.
Now
Yeah.
here's my crazy thing right here. The next 4 down, it goes Montreal, Philadelphia,
Oh, God.
Toronto, and Detroit.
Which
Yeah.
2 of those, so one of those cities only has a professional hockey team. Oh, wait, we're only talking about hockey. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But one of those teams is not an original 6, and clearly it's Philadelphia.
Right.
After Detroit, the next original 6 team
Boston.
is it's Boston
Then
at
Detroit.
17th. No, Detroit's 5.
Oh, wow. Yeah, sorry.
Boston at 17, the Rangers at 19. Now at the bottom, this one doesn't shock me as much. It goes New Jersey at 26, Ottawa at 27, Carolina at 28, Arizona at 29, Florida, the Panthers at 30,
Yeah.
and the Islanders, because how terrible the Barclays Center is,
Yeah.
at
I
31.
forget the Florida Panthers are even a team.
Yeah.
But let me ask you, does it show that because Chicago is such a big populated city that it's obviously everybody has a debate, Chicago better than New York or Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And it is.
But sports-wise, you clearly see it. Chicago's dominating in most sports over the Yankees,
Right.
the Mets, the Rangers, all these other teams that you would think that they'd be better at, and they're just showing, no, we're still loyal to our fans.
Well,
What does that say to the city? What does that say to a fan base? And especially with how the Blackhawks have turned out, like, we're still number 1, and we're not making the playoffs. The Bulls are number 2, they're not making the playoffs.
That either says it says 2 things, because obviously, for me at least, it says 2 things, and obviously I'm going to catch heat on some of this stuff, but at this point I don't
It's fine.
care. It says that basically when it comes to, we've got loyal fans, but we also got fans that
Are
unfortunately,
morons.
they're not using their heads, because you don't pay for those Bulls tickets, you don't pay for those Blackhawks tickets, guess what? Things might change. You don't show up, you show that there's a drop in attendance, there may be a change. Obviously, if you keep showing up,
don't talk to Elman Ward.
their teams are just going to keep pouring in and say, well, people must like the product. People hate the Bulls product. People aren't really satisfied with what the Blackhawks product is. They love going to the game, certainly. The atmosphere there is fantastic. It's wonderful. I've been to those games. It's amazing. It is great. But clearly when the team's not winning, it also sucks. So it's a tough market where it's like, yeah, the fans are loyal, but at the same time, you're doing kind of a disservice to your fandom because you're helping to promote
But
teams
not even
that
that.
are
Like
not
the
even good.
Blackhawks were in a playoff race. The Cubs are just the Cubs. The White Sox, again, it's just because of where they're located. If you move the White Sox, I
Yeah.
guarantee their attendance goes up.
Seriously.
It's possible.
Like he's actually 1,000% correct, I think, on that.
But now, so to tie it back into college-wise, who do you think's more loyal in college? What university or college?
Like, what do you mean, like student section or
not student section, just fans?
Notre Dame. It's either Notre Dame, Alabama, Michigan,
but
or Ohio State.
I'm talking through basketball, football, and women's basketball.
In all honesty,
three big ones.
In all honesty, guys, and Andrew, I mean this is the 100% like not sounding like a fanboy. It's Notre Dame because their football games are sold out. Every single one of their football games is sold out. They have fans all across the country. Their basketball games are both men's and women's.
More so their women's.
All sold out. Their hockey games for men's and women's are all sold out.
Back-to-back Big Ten champions, baby. Let's go.
Well, I don't understand how those conferences work. But even their hockey games are all sold out for men's and women's. Their hockey games are all sold out. Now, I don't know about baseball, but that's because they don't really make too much noise for Notre Dame baseball and softball.
No, softball's actually pretty good, though.
But I digress. I mean, you could pick certain schools like Alabama for football or Michigan for football, maybe Michigan for football and basketball, or Wisconsin for hockey and basketball, or Boston College or Boston University for hockey. But overall, and in terms of across the country too, that's the other thing, is that Notre Dame has a fan base all across the country. And I'm just going to address this real quick for professionally. LA, it's no contest between LA and Chicago. LA is a terrible sports town.
Yeah.
It's an awful sports town.
Look at Dodgers games.
The Dodgers games, until last year, they were blacked out locally, so you couldn't watch it on TV.
What?
Yes. Like, that was seriously a thing. They were blacked out locally.
Right.
The Rams could have won the Super Bowl last year, and I guarantee you they still wouldn't have had anybody to show up to their parade. The Kings won 2 Stanley Cups in the last 10 years, and they got next to nobody to show up to their parades.
Yeah.
The Clippers, the Clippers are the bastard child of the LA basketball scene, and the Lakers are on a decline.
Right.
The only reason why people go to Lakers games is so that way they can be noticed by the celebrities and they can see the celebrities. The only reason you go to a Clippers game is because you don't have the money to afford to go to a Lakers game.
Yeah.
And then New York, basically the only thing they have is the Yankees. That's it. They only have the Yankees because the Mets are garbage. I mean, yes, the Rangers are an original 16, but
the Knicks.
The Knicks are an embarrassment.
They're an embarrassment, but they still love.
They still draw in the fans. People want to go to the Garden.
Yeah, and they want to see Spike Lee bitch.
So I totally figured that's where you're going with your college, and that's where I'm going. I think Notre Dame's by far the real person I want to hear this from. I want to hear it from him. I want him to say who he thinks is college in those three big sports.
I will say that in terms of the 3 bigs, so you're talking football,
basketball, and women's basketball.
And women's basketball?
Yeah, because, dude, women's basketball is really big in college.
He's not wrong. It kind of is.
I will say that I think when it comes to that kind of stuff, in terms of schools, yes, Notre Dame's fandom for those things is certainly big. But what helps with that, too, is obviously because the programs are big, too. You could see with the women's college basketball, they're always in the tournament. The football program is always strong.
There's only one newcomer in the Final Four this year.
Okay.
That hasn't won a tournament in the last 10 years.
The only part where they really struggle is their men's basketball, but even still, they struggled this year.
They struggled this year.
Yeah,
I'm just saying
they had a lot of youth on there.
And they had injuries.
I'm just saying that they haven't. It's been a couple years now. All right, that's all I'm saying. Yes, the fandom is very strong. You can find a lot of alumni when you go across the country, things like that. What I do feel, though, that when it comes to a fandom that's strong on every level, when it comes to football, basketball, and women's basketball.
Don't say Alabama.
I'm not going to say Alabama because Alabama's women's basketball team is bad.
USC.
I was going to say USC in terms of football and women's basketball. Their men's basketball program isn't good.
Their men's basketball team
their fan program is starting to drop, though, because obviously those programs are dropping.
Trash.
I would have to say I think –
Don't say UCF.
Chill out. Just chill out. I think that if I could – I'm trying to think because I think Michigan might be one. Florida might be one.
Michigan's women's basketball team is terrible. Florida State doesn't have a basketball program.
Florida State has a basketball program. I don't know if you noticed. They were in the tournament.
But women's is terrible.
Because I've seen their games, and they have a pretty strong fandom going down there.
But I'm not talking like that. I'm talking about, though, like you go to an away game.
Yeah.
And you see it. Like you hear Cubs fans in the crowd at away games.
Mm-hmm.
I heard it over the radio this past weekend in Texas. You hear "Let's go Cubs" or you heard Javi chants.
Yeah.
Like, you don't hear that in certain places. You don't see that. And they show it at Notre Dame games. Like, when they played at Virginia Tech, you saw the Notre Dame fans, and there was a bunch of them.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's tough. Yes, that program clearly is strong. But then again, too, they've also had hundreds of years now to be able to exist and build that fandom. You know, the fandom has been built within families. I mean, you have to remember that. There are generations that have grown up just thinking that Notre Dame is the one and only.
What's the difference between them and any other university then? Those are all the same thing. I mean, anyone who lives in the state of Alabama is literally brought up that you either love Auburn or Alabama.
I mean, it is, to me, it's a generation.
We saw it when we went through Alabama.
Well, yeah, but to me, it's just one of those things where it's just a generational thing. For over 100 years now, the ND, the Fighting Irish, have kind of been sort of considered to be a staple when it comes to a program that not only has good education but also has good athletics. So,
damn straight.
Well, besides that, though, that has kind of built in an entire fandom that says, well, then we have to root for them because they're kind of, so to speak, on literal say is they're a golden child. But that's what I'm saying, though. It's a family thing because it's built through the generations of the great grandfathers who went there to the grandfathers to the fathers.
Right.
Well, no,
it's not necessarily.
I'm not saying for me.
No.
Do you know what when I first started liking Notre Dame, guys?
Rudy.
No. It was in NCAA football 2003. I love the fact they had gold helmets, and I love the fight song.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I hated Notre Dame after I saw Rudy. I just thought he was whiny.
I just wanted to go to
I just
Holy
thought
Cross.
he was really whiny.
I was totally
I'm sorry.
I had it all set that I was going to go through Holy Cross to go to Notre Dame. That was the only way I could see myself getting into Notre Dame.
I watched Rudy, and I just thought, that dude is really
He's an
whiny.
ass.
He is an ass. He really is.
I just couldn't get over the fact that he was. I just didn't even see him as. I saw him as Samwise Gamgee from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
I
that's
saw him
the
as
other
Samwise
problem. Yeah.
playing football.
Yeah, that's why I root for LSU. Go Tigers.
LSU.
All right. That's going to do it for us here, ladies and gentlemen. We had more to talk about, but we're just going to kick that over to the next.
We have to go back to our normal time.
Relax. This is going to help us out a little bit more so that we can get people to get here on time and stuff. I hope you guys have enjoyed this program. We'll see you guys next week. Please make sure to like us on our Facebook page. Tom, where can they find you real quick?
That's going to sit there, too.
Tom, where are you
at?
you
can find me at McLovin6193. Yeah, and anywhere else.
All right,
guys,
Kevin, where can they find you?
You guys can follow me on Twitter at KevinBTheGamer. You can follow me over on Instagram at _Berg Squad. Tune in Friday and tune in Tuesdays and Fridays to see me, Kat, and Shaq over on the Respawn Cast. And tune in tomorrow afternoon 3 to 5 on SportsTimeChicago.com as me and Shaq bring you another episode of the main event. And also, guys, if you guys do like the show, please subscribe and hit that bell icon so that way anything at all that is going to be up on the page, which shall be including a documentary that me and the Respawn Cat have been working on that we are currently in the process of finishing, but that shall be up very shortly. Hope you guys can check it out, like it, and, tell me how great I am. Or how much I suck. Either one.
Absolutely.
Anything helps.
God, I hate these goddamn blackout games.
All right, and you guys can find me at TheFluffyGuru on Twitter. Find me at the Boom Crew Captain on Instagram. You guys can like us at XBomb Sports on Instagram and on Twitter as well. Make sure to go like the Facebook page at XBomb Sports, and also make sure to go to XBomb Productions. Make sure to go like that. Please stop throwing the paper into the cameras, guys, please. Jesus.
Tell me what to do. You ain't my dad.
Yeah, I don't want to be, but sometimes I just have to be. All right, ladies and gentlemen, well, that's going to do it for us here on this Wednesday. We'll see you next week. Thank you so much for watching. Much love. Peace out, Boom Crew.